Hey, good morning. How are we doing this morning?
We're good. How are you?
Good.
Wonderful. Michigan Mama News appreciates your time this morning. So this is very exciting. Now, this is something I really don't know much about, but chronic idiopathic urticaria. So it's kind of a handful there.
It is. It's a big mouthful.
It is. So, yeah. So, Vicki, I guess tell us a little bit about this.
Well, this is a condition that 1.5 million people in this country have, and I myself was diagnosed about 8 years ago. I broke out in hives, went to our allergist that we've used for years, and he did everything you can think of that you would do for an allergic reaction. He said, no worries, we'll get rid of the hives. At the end of 6 weeks, he said, and the hives were, I was still breaking out. He said, I'm going to diagnose you with chronic idiopathic urticaria, and I honestly thought he had made it up, Cynthia. I'd never heard such a mouthful. Come to find out, it's chronic, which means it's now lasted for 6 weeks or more. Idiopathic means the doctor cannot tell me why I am breaking out, and urticaria is a fancy doctor word for hives. More women than men break out, and as I said, there are 1.5 million of us, and I was just really fortunate that he was familiar with the condition, so we were able to get my hives under control, and then several years later I had an opportunity to put my face on this beautiful website, ciunu.com, which is supported by the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America. It's made possible by Genentech and Novartis. It's a really smart resource for people who have been searching for answers and haven't been able to find them.
Well, great. So now, is this also then the awareness program you're working with too then, Vicki?
It is. It's got my story is on there. It's got lots of information. It's got downloadable materials that will encourage you to track the hives and take pictures so that when you do get to the right allergist, you can get, it's going to take 6 weeks to get that diagnosis, so it's good to be armed and proactive when you get there and, you know, be able to say to the doctor, hey, look, here's everything that's happened to me in the last month, you know.
Interesting. Well, doctor, can you tell us about the signs and the symptoms of CIU?
Well, Vicki described it really well, but what you see in CIU is hives that are severely itchy, that occur spontaneously. They wax and wane, they appear and they disappear, and they have no identifiable cause, and this can go on for 6 weeks or more. And by the time they come to my office, the allergist office, people have gone through this long search, eliminating things from their diets, changing their detergents, changing their clothes, a battery of tests, and they reveal nothing. And that's really the hallmark of CIU. There's no identifiable trigger for these hives. And ultimately, it is important, like Vicki said, find an allergist in your community if you suspect that you have CIU, that you have these symptoms, keeping in mind that women are twice as likely to get it as men, and it affects people usually between the ages of 20 and 40. And see an allergist, and together, you guys can come up with management options.
Do they have a reason why it's more in women than in men?
Because women get to do all the fun stuff, Cynthia. Don't you think?
Of course, I should have known this, right? I should have known this.
Yeah. It's and I think you know the hardest thing for CIU patients is to. You really just want to blame yourself. I tried everything. I tried changing the soaps, changing the diet, I had a friend that said, stop drinking red wine. It's the tannins in the red wine. I said, you know, it's the red wine is the only thing that's getting me through this. It can be a long, exhaustive search. I've actually talked to people who have been looking for years for answers. I spoke to a woman that moved out of her house because she was sure it was something in her house. One woman had this huge diary of notes she had kept and started crying when she saw the website because she said, I wish that this had been available to me when I was looking. When I was diagnosed, there was actually no good information on the web. I looked. You know how we all do when we get something new, we're on, you know, the web looking for answers, and there was no good information. So I'm really pleased to be a part of this program where you can see my whole story and see if any of that rings a bell, and as I said, get great downloadable materials and lots of information to help you hopefully on your way to a diagnosis and a treatment plan. It's treatable, it is not curable. But the good news is it is treatable, so get to the right allergist and find yourself an answer.
Great. So where do we go for more information? What's the website?
ciuandyou.com.
Great. Now, is there anything else we didn't cover in this interview?
Anything, watch the Cool Kids on Fox, Friday nights, 8:30. We, of course, will be preempted this week for the World Series. Go Dodgers.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll be back next week.
Great. Well, thank you, ladies, for your time. This is very educational.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
Thank you.